Welcome back to another Chef Knives to Go quick look product review. I'm Steve Gamache, and what we have right now is the Kato VG-10 Damascus Black Santoku 180mm knife. So they label these that because of the handles, and we'll get to that, but the handles are great on these things. The core steel is VG-10 full stainless, used in lots and lots and lots of different types of kitchen knives throughout the world. Heat treat on that's about 61 Rockwell, and the construction is a multi-layered Damascus style stainless cladding over the top of that. And these are really pretty knives. They've got a fair amount of polish to them. You'll see the lights reflecting pretty heavily here, but very pretty knives. You've got hand-chiseled kanji. We'll look at that. Just really nice presentation. The weight and dimensions on these should be pretty close to one another, but they might vary just a little bit. So let's take a look at that. Then we'll get a close-up look at this blade. So the weight's about 167 grams or 5.9 ounces on my sample. Edge length about 176 millimeter or 6.9 inches, just a shy under 7. Overall length about 303 millimeters or a little under 12 inches. And these are fairly thin blades, so it's pretty much just the same thickness throughout, and there's no really taper to it except at the very tip where the grind kicks in down here. So about 1.75 millimeters all the way through until the grind. And these tips are pretty thin, so this does very, very well. It's a good, very good performing knife. Blade height, 45.6, so plenty of height. And the handles on these are very cool. They are a black linen micarta, so really nice look to it. And the cool thing about micarta is it's very resistant to shrinkage, moisture, and all. So it's definitely a higher performing material than black packawood that we see on a lot of blades. So you should have very little shrinkage or getting proud rivets and tangs and stuff on these. To keep them a little lighter, they've got a partial tang, so you can see it's on the top and it goes through right there, and then there's nothing on the bottom. So the tang is probably in this area here, but it just lightens it up just a little bit. The handles are nicely rounded, very, very comfortable handles. They're not super big, but they fit the knife perfectly as far as the general size. The neck's not super wide, so you still got a lot of clearance for the cutting board. You've got a pinned-on bolster style on these. I'm going to do this on the fly here. Let me grab... here, just for comparison's sake. This is another VG-10 knife here, a Kohetsu. I'm getting my stuff all over here. But anyway, let's take a look at the handles. You'll see how this handle's a lot more rounded than this kind of standard, which is still a nice handle. It's just a little bit blockier. You can kind of see that just from the slabs. This is more curved. Bring them in a little bit. So it's got a little more curve to it. So extremely comfortable handles. So this style handle is just slightly bigger feeling, and this one has got the rounded contour, so it feels just a little bit slightly smaller, but very, very comfortable. So enough about handles. There we go. All right, so the fit and finish is really nice on the handle. They've polished the spine, the choil a little bit, so very, very nice polish on that. Really pretty knives. You can see the layering effect. Good shot of the chiseled kanji, so you can feel that when you run your fingers over it. Got a decent polish to this blade. So this is the right side of the blade. The left side of the knife is no embossing or kanji or anything, plain with the multi-layered, so really cool effect. These are quite thin at the edge. It's a thin blade overall. Very, very good performing knives. A fairly stiff blade for how thin they are. And the balance point is the handles. Micarta is not the lightest stuff in the world, so your balance point is just about where the bolster starts into the blade. Let's take a look at the cutting board profile. So this one, they have a pretty nice flat spot on these, so take a look. You'll see that flat spot is a good back third of the blade. You got a little bit of roll off into the heel, so it doesn't just slam into a stop, but it's a really nice profile. The tip's fairly low, but it is a Santoku, so you get that sheep's foot kind of point to it. So I'm not going to get super high on it, but high enough to rock over any kind of normal, medium low stuff, carrots on down as far as diameter goes. and it rocks real nice. It's a very smooth profile, no hiccups, bumps, dips in it, and just a nice knife. It's a thin blade, but you can kind of see the contours in the grind there, and it's just kind of a gentle curve right down to the edge, so it's not a hard bevel there. It's just a real smooth. So it's got a nuanced grind to it. And as I said, the performance on these is quite good. So pretty knife, all stainless, great handle, nice package. So this is the Kato VG-10 Damascus Black Santoku 180mm knife.